What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And through that collaboration, I've been able to reach out directly or indirectly to over 75,000 fathers around the world. And I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, food, drink, and travel. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem. Welcome, Ryan. We got a full house today, Ryan.
Love it. Thank you, Dr. Vibe. For those that don't know who Ryan Knight is, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, figuring out what stage they're in today and helping them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. I'm also an entrepreneur, Detailing Knights, represent.
Green man.
Yes. We do our mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses and their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And of course, always a shout out to our youth entrepreneurs that are in our fall cohort. That's coming to a close. I'm seeing snow stains on the ground. I am not impressed.
Not fall anymore.
So yeah, shout out to Nathan, Taj, and Torian that, hey, are braving the cold as it is now, but we're winding down. So
man, you're such a hard boss sending these black youth.
Listen, they gotta feel it. This is rain, sleet, snow. We out there.
Blowing
wind.
Might not
be cleaning cars, but if it's, hey, we're still handing out flyers. So
good
the
stuff.
grind continues.
Good stuff. How was the weekend?
The weekend was nice. What happened this weekend? It feels like so relaxed. I know Sunday we were like hard at work, had to try and get caught up on a lot of administrative stuff. But yeah, Saturday, family time, got to relax. How about yourself?
Well, did State of Things, Aisha and Jill on Saturday night, which was always great. And then yesterday had Deputy Mayor of Shelburne, Steve Anderson on. I saw you were watching, contributing. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, and thank you for that. It was a really good conversation and some relaxation time in between. And yeah, I said, geez, winter is really here. But you know what?
Right.
Don't waste the crisis. Don't waste the winter. Speaking of which,
true.
Winter time, indoor, you got to think about food. And we've got a superstar cast today, folks. Like, it's so much a superstar cast. We're broadcasting this on 8 different platforms today. 8 different platforms. Why? Because it's Black Restaurant Week. Buy Blacks. Black Restaurant Week, the second one of this year. So we have Roger Dundas from ByBlacksdotcom. We have Sharon Slacks from FamBar, who's one of the participants. We also have first up, we have Janice Bartley from Foodpreneur Lab, who she is part of the Black Canadian food ecosystem. So we're going to bring Janice on first, then Sharon, then Roger at the end. And if you are anything about food, whether you like eating it or you want to get involved in it, you need to be here right now. So let's bring up first Janice Bartley.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Outstanding.
Dr.
Outstanding.
Vibe,
How are
you
you?
forgot one part.
Uh-oh.
Janice is the powerhouse in the food ecosystem.
Oh, sorry.
Not just part of it, the powerhouse in the ecosystem. I am inspired by what Janice does. And it's a space that not a lot of, I would say, Black entrepreneurs are in or understand. So when I get to hear Janice talk, I'm always inspired. I have a food product idea, actually, after talking.
Thank you. Absolutely. We will talk. And thank you for that. I appreciate it. So,
Good
yeah,
stuff.
it's great to be here. Great to be
Yeah,
here
it's
and in
great.
great company.
Yeah, you know, like when Janice came on, myself and Roger, you see, I'm in a hoodie. I love my hoodies. Roger's in a t-shirt. We're going, are we underdressed? Like, she's got that CEO look with us, and she's looking great. But so, Janice, for those people who don't know of you or about you, can you give a little background on Foodpreneur Lab?
Absolutely. Foodpreneur Lab was created in 2019, and it came from a gap that existed in the market coming out of a accelerator and incubator space that I was in for about 3 years. And what I noticed was a lack of representation, which I found very odd, given that it was in food. And, you know, I saw very few people of color. And so I always say sometimes when you have an epiphany, you can't go back. And so that was my epiphany. And in doing so, I started to ask why. And in asking why, I created Foodpreneur Lab. And this is what brought me to where I am today. And having said that, it has also identified and driven my purpose. So my purpose is to ensure every Black food entrepreneur has access into this complex food ecosystem where we help them navigate and get them to the places and spaces where they want to be in.
And if you can go a bit deeper into what a food entrepreneur is, because when I first heard about what you do, I just thought, oh yeah, restaurateur, person that has a restaurant or a catering business, but you actually go a lot deeper than that.
Deeper, absolutely. So there are quite a few categories of food entrepreneur. It can start from a product all the way down to a food truck and everything in between. Restaurateurs, dark kitchens, ghost kitchens, caterers, small businesses, online, you name it, e-commerce specifically. But for the food entrepreneurs or foodpreneurs, I like to call our participants, we are about consumer packaged goods. And so it is, you may have an idea, and what you're trying to do is get to a prototype, which is, you know, that generational sauce, the soup. And you have this idea, you know, hey, grandma used to make this great soup and I want to take it to market. But you don't know how to get from the idea in your head to the shelf. And so that's what we do. We create what's called pathways, and we don't call them programs because a pathway by definition is a plan of action. And so we're very specific about that. And so what we do is our pathways are called advisory led. We have advisors that help you navigate the food ecosystem and get you to the point where you want to go. And I call them, aka the food Sherpas. You don't climb Mount Everest without a Sherpa. So you don't go into the food system without a food Sherpa. That's the simplest analogy I can give.
Janice, the foodpreneurs that come to you, what are some of the common challenges they come to you and your organization with that they need help with?
We see a lot of food entrepreneurs from entry level where they have a great product, but they don't know about the regulation. And that can open doors of liability. And this is what we try and inform and educate. One of the things that we talk about, and one of my mottos are, educate so you can innovate, then you can elevate. And so that education part is so important because yes, the province allows you to make food from home that are low risk, which are baked goods. But the minute you start introducing protein-based products, it's a higher risk food. It's no longer low risk. And so you need to know what is that liability as the maker of that food? What is your liability from the terms of Toronto Public Health? and from an insurance perspective. And so before you even get out the gate, one of the things that we do on the pathways is we cover legal. How do you want to define your business? Are you going to be a sole entrepreneur, sole proprietor, or do you need to be incorporated? The reality of it is, if you're going to get into food, you need to be incorporated. You got to separate church from state, personal assets from business assets. Okay, and so let's get the foundational stuff in place, and then from there we talk about how to set up the business properly, the accounting, the bookkeeping. Make sure you're paying your taxes. We have CRA deliver a webinar that tells you how to structure your business, when to start charging HST, when can you pay HST, how can you pay HST, and again, foundation, because a good house is not built on sand. And even I had to learn that lesson when I was starting as an entrepreneur. So we need to get those firm boulders in the ground so that no matter what hurricane hits you, meaning an issue with a food recall, an issue with food poisoning, it doesn't take down the house. It might shake the house, but the house stands firm.
Well, see, people are excited. Carlina's saying excited for this episode in Black Restaurant Week. And she goes, was sad. I'll be away from Toronto this week, but there's actually some restaurants in the area that I'll be at. Good. Fantastic. Leslie is saying
is going to be part of it. So maybe there's something near Carlina.
Yes, and there's Leslie saying, I like that. Educate, innovate, elevate. I love that. Ryan, you had something to say. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just curious now, when people are now thinking of being a food entrepreneur, you do have these incubators and foodpreneur lab. So what stage should people be at before they engage with you, and what should they expect when they join?
Well, if you're thinking of a food idea, come talk to us. Do not, it's like you don't leave your home without your cell phone. You go back and you get it. It's the same thing, okay?
Yes.
Because it is a complex food system that we live in. Now, it is a great food ecosystem. Don't get me wrong, because we have some of the best safety regulations, and they're there in place for a reason. However, those same regulations can bottleneck us. What do I mean? For example, if you're doing a meat product and you're going to sell to retail, you can't do it out of a commercial kitchen. So these are the things that you need to know. Okay. So what are the rules with regard to certain types of food? If you're going to sell it, as we say, B2C, yes, there's some leeway, but if you're going to go retail from kitchen to retail, normally we have what's called a co-packer. You may have to look for a co-packer. So you really need to be educated in terms of what product are you going to be making. Do you fall under dairy guidelines? There's a milk regulation, yogurt regulations. So one of the things that we do is also we let Black food entrepreneurs and food entrepreneurs in general know about what is the role of OMAFRA. OMAFRA is Big Daddy. It is the Ontario Minister of Agricultural, Food and Rural Affairs. They are intersectional with every piece of legislation that is out there. And above them is what is referred to as the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. So what am I saying? There's accountability. You can't just go out there and make food and, it's not home. Home meaning back home where you kind of set up shop and it's different. And so this is why I highly recommend, even if you start out with what we call a market feasibility program, like what Whitespace offers, to get an idea if it has legs. Because let me tell you something, the food business is expensive. It doesn't matter if you are in a restaurant, it doesn't matter if you are farming, it is expensive. And it's more expensive when you make mistakes that could be avoided. So why not spend $2,000, $3,000 on a pathway or a program or however it costs to lay the foundations, as opposed to losing $15,000 a year in because you bought product, you spent money on labels that you can't use, you're working with a distributor that's taking 45% off the top, you don't know how to scale, you've lost product, you've had to throw out product, you don't know how to line up your distributors, and you don't know how to get into retail. And your time you have not accounted for, which I'm going to assume is more than $15,000.
I love all what you said, and especially what you said. Why make a mistake that can be avoided?
Precisely.
And I really appreciate that. I actually have a question from our number one supporter online, Christopher Janis. Are you a profit company or not-for-profit organization?
We are a not-for-profit organization, registered in 2020. We started as a for-profit in 2019. And like any entrepreneur, I realized very quickly the significance and importance of pivoting when you can't find things that fit. No point of trying to put a round peg in a square hole, okay? Adapt, be agile. And that is really what entrepreneurship is about. So yes, we are not for profit now.
Ryan.
I was curious, where do you see Foodpreneur Lab going? Because even where it is now, it plays a really important puzzle piece. But where do you want to get it to? Like, what do you feel is missing that you guys could do?
Wow, you don't have enough time for this show.
Give us the snippets.
So the snippets is to create places and spaces where we can commercialize, produce, distribute, export on a global level, have partners, because we bring something to the market. And it's from, TV shows to platforms, you name it. There is enough room out there for us. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And here's my data, okay? Because you got to support it with some hardcore data, all right? In immigration, we bring in 200,000 people every year. Over the next year, I believe it's going to be 400,000 because of the pandemic. 400,000 of that, 25% will come here and create a business of some sort in food entrepreneurism, because it's the fastest gateway to getting work. It's the quickest gateway, okay? Embedded in that, we have data where we have millennials and we have boomers. We have the largest boomer population that is interested in broader flavor profiles. They have the disposable income to buy it. They're interested and they want more than 3 different dishes a week for dinner. Then we have millennials who are a whole different beast altogether. And this is why I love them. They are the generation of accountability. They want transparency in their food. They want accountability from producers. They want sustainable products. And they want a story, which AKA is your brand. They want to know what food you are making, how it's contributing, and they want what we call functional food. It must serve a purpose, which is it makes me healthy, it makes me look younger, it makes me feel younger. Whether or not it's actually doing that, that's debatable, okay? But they are about functional foods. It must serve a purpose. And so what I tell foodpreneurs are, okay, this is where we are today. I want you to think 5 years from now, which is, how are you going to attract millennials and keep them as a loyal customer base, because this is what they're expecting. So gone are the days where you can just throw your food in a package. No, it has to be sustainable. It has to be biodegradable. Maybe every 10 cents that you get from every dollar goes to a charity, pays for a child's education. Everything a millennial's looking for serves a purpose. And I applaud them for it, because they represent a quarter of the Canadian population, which is huge. And that's just today. Jump 10 years from now, they are going to be the big bosses in the chair driving this.
Wow. So before we came on live, I was saying to everybody, Janice does master classes. So so before Sharon comes on, 2 quick questions, and I'm going to have you talk really quick about your program. So first up, Christopher asks, are you funded by province, federal, or community donations?
So this particular project is funded by the Black Entrepreneurship Fund, which is federal, by FedDev. And this is going to be funded over the next 4 years. But like any business, we are looking and we are going to be rolling out paid programming in 2022 to continue exactly what we've been doing, because there's a need. Community donations, absolutely welcome. We haven't asked for any, but that's not to say. But what we are looking for, and on a more serious note, we're looking for industry partnerships, because everybody can play a role.
Okay. Next question from Tim Frey. Is Foodpreneur Lab connected or partnered with any Black food brokers?
At the moment, no, but that is something we are working on. You have to understand that if there are Black food brokers, please reach out to us because that's what we're looking for. We are in a space that has never been investigated, torn down, and looked at in the way that we're doing it right now. The other day, I was fortunate enough, and I would say pleasantly surprised to meet a food scientist that's been in the industry 25 years who's a minority. And I was just blown away because he's been here 25 years, but it's like, we're all hiding under bushels. And so it's time now to shine our light. So anybody who is in the food space, that's a distributor, supplier, please reach out to us because we are looking to broaden our partnerships.
Okay. And finally, we'll get you to talk really quick about the startup or scale up paths.
Absolutely. So both pathways are 9 months. The startup path is directed to participants who have an idea, haven't exactly figured out how to get it to prototype, meaning something tangible in your hand. We help guide you through that, from legal to business to food science to product development to labeling, you name it. The desirable outcome is that you will have an incorporated business that will be participating in the market. At what level? That is something we discuss with the participants, because not every participant is ready to go big or go home. Okay, and you have to recognize that as well. On the scale-up pathway, it's identical, 9 months again, but the scale-up participants already have a product that they're working with, and maybe they're bottlenecked by some issues. So for example, production could be an issue. They don't know how to scale up a recipe. Distribution, they're bottlenecked there. It's great product, but they haven't really had traction in their sales. We go back and we revamp that and we look at, okay, maybe you're B2B or B2C and not necessarily the platform that you're working with or your customer base. We're going to expand on that. Maybe it's a labeling issue. And more importantly, one of our goals is to ensure that at the end of each pathway, whether you're startup and scale up, you will have a business plan in hand that you can present to any financial institution that are committed to supporting Black food entrepreneurs. And what we've done is we've done outreach and we've partnered. I've had discussions with Ryan. I've had discussions with the women's entrepreneurs. And I've also had discussions with, we're looking at FACE. So what we're trying to do is, you cannot bootstrap a business. And if you are, you can only do it for so long. So you have to sustain your business by borrowing money. Yes, I know we're risk adverse. I get it. But guess what? There are ways to borrow money and use it smartly. So let's find that out. Let the Ryans of the world teach you how to do that. The Andre Smiths of the world that are great, the Empowered for X, because they're there. These organizations are there, and we must take advantage of these opportunities. And as you can see, I'm very passionate about this.
Yes,
just real quick on that, because it's so important that our community hears about how to leverage debt. A lot of times we're trying to run a business. You can't scale without injections of capital. And I hear it every day. As soon as you bring up loans, it's like an adverse reaction. We have to get comfortable with money because, like you said, when you use it properly, oh man,
it works for you. That's right. It works for you.
All right. So Chris was saying, I salute you, Janice. You've carved out a great niche. The riches are in the niches. Yeah, all right. All right. So folks, we're going to move onward now. Janice is going to be back on her own. Excuse me, she can give a master class. But next up, we actually have one of the restaurants participating in Black Restaurant Week, and they can actually tell you what's going on at ground zero for restaurants, Black restaurants. We have Sharon Sachs from FamBar. How are you, Sharon?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That was amazing.
Thank you, Sharon.
I have ideas and ideas flowing in my head.
Yes, you see what happens? That's how I feel. The
It's
brain
just like
turns on.
boom.
He's a great
Happy
presenter.
to
Like,
hear.
everything's laid out, and as my head was spinning, and
Happy to hear. Happy
so
to
I'm
hear.
glad that that's there for everyone to access. So great, you'll be hearing from us for sure.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
So Sharon, tell us a little about Fanbar.
So, Fanbar, I'm the manager of Fanbar. This was a labor of love for the owner, Jason Bogle, who was unavailable this morning, and so I'm going to be representing the store on his behalf. Jason started this restaurant in February 2020. And it was a labor of love for him, born out of his tradition and his family, his mother and father. And he wanted to give our community a space for everything food, art, and music, which is what our brand is about, right? Everything and anything, because that is, if you think about our culture, that's a lot of our backbone. I just, the you can't have a conversation with another friend and food doesn't come up. Like, it's, or music. It's just one of those things. And the one thing that we're trying to make sure happens is that music isn't just one linear. It's not just Drake. It's not just all the hip hop rap. It's really broad. So we're trying to make sure that we present ourselves in a way that we talk about music on a broad level, because I remember being in Jamaica and being at the club in Kingston, and all of a sudden I'm listening to Yellow Man. This is years and years ago, Yellow Man, and then all of a sudden they broke into a country western song, and I'm in the club going, "What just happened?" And everybody knew the songs. And so music is broad.
Yes.
The point is, music is broad. There's so much to it. Our food, we are just now about to launch our new food menu. We had to look at where we were and how to get the most out of, unfortunately, this COVID life that we're living. Stores had to pivot so many times. We have to focus on delivery. We're at Queen and Bathurst, and it's a good area where there's a lot of opportunity. People downtown tend to eat out a lot. They eat out a lot. They order in. So we're in a good location for all of those things to happen. And we had to pivot and change our menu to say, okay, because not all items are deliverable. Like, there's some foods that you kind of deliver better than others. So we had to sit down and focus on what that looks like and what we could deliver and what people would like to have at home for their families. So it's been an interesting time. And Janice, I wanted to ask you, if I can kind of co-do this for a second. What has changed in what you were doing before? Has COVID affected it in any way in terms of sort of like the things that you have to educate people with?
Absolutely. We saw a huge shift in production spaces, which was prior to pre-COVID. You would have, anywhere between 20, 25 people in a production space. Because of the 6 foot rule, that significantly lowered the ability to take on more clients and to have more production teams in those spaces. Not only that, we saw a dramatic shift in supply chains. Even if you wanted to produce, there was no product, or product was en route. And even now, we are still dealing with a severe supply chain issue. And now it's global. It's across the board, all consumer products. If you've offered a piece of production machinery, you're not seeing it for another 4 to 6 months with a to be delivered date or to be determined date on the end of that. So we are seeing it. I'll give you an example. Go to IKEA's website. Everything's gone. Everything's on back order. Leon's is having the same problem. Dishwashers you can't get. Washing machines are on back order. So this is severe.
And that's what I mean. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, so to Sharon and Janice, to that point, and also it ain't getting any cheaper.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So true.
So
Yeah.
when it's, I mean, even everything's affected.
Sharon's point, which is,
Go ahead. Janice, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, one of the things that we now have to look at, which is again creates opportunity, is, you know, especially in food, if it's going to be more expensive and we're focused on local, how do we participate in our communities to support local? We now have to start look at vertical farming, community farming, you know, tell the story about it being grown by our local farmers. And farmers by definition has now changed. You have the modern day farmers, they're doing vertical farming. And I say this to Ryan, that's that's a story there to be told. And I think that's something we also have to address within our cities in terms of how do we participate as well, so that we can be part of that innovation surge in this plant-based lifestyle that we can participate in. So we need to pay attention as well.
Back to you, Sharon, in regards to, you know, you're on the ground level and having to make these pivots and having to change everything you do. How's it been going, and how it does? I know it's not easy, but how's it been going?
It's been very, 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 very challenging. I can't even describe all the things that we've had to deal with, and the last minute pivots. I mean, before even COVID, and actually during this, people are rethinking how they eat. They want to eat cleaner. There's more vegans. There's more vegetarians. You know, we kind of have to, you know, even look at, you know, how we prepare food. There's all kinds of things, and even the all the legal with food inspectors. Everything has changed, and it's constant everyday pivoting. Never mind having trouble staffing the store. You know, that's in itself a challenge. You know, the turnover is insane. It's pretty transient business anyways from before. Now it's even harder to get people to want to come in and do this sort of, they have to wear masks all the time. It's not as, you know, everybody likes this business and serving because it was, they could meet people, they like talking to people. Now it's a little bit more frustrating, and, you know, with all the mask wearing and things, but we do what we can. So there is a shortage. I mean, everybody's been hearing about it in terms of having people available to work. So that's a challenge that we have to face. It's like every corner there's something in there that has affected how we work, and it's all changed. Never mind. I mean, it's lovely being downtown. It's great because that's where, you know, people like the live part of being in the city and all of that. But the construction is like another thing to deal with, right? Like we just started construction on Queen Street. Like it's just every which way you turn, there's just this block. And like we were talking about before we got started, we are resilient. We do everything that we can. Where there's like things that happen, it's like we're super people, and, you know, we just like these things just keep bouncing off us, and we just pivot, turn, and figure it out.
Ryan, you haven't had a chance to get a word in. What do you want to say here? I feel bad here.
No, I just enjoyed the conversation. But as you were talking, Sharon, it dawned on me two things. One, around the servers actually enjoying the social aspect of their job, and that being constrained now because talking too much at the table is frowned upon, and that interaction that might have enticed a person to get into the industry, you know, to get their feet wet, now is taken away. What's really the draw? And that's where I wanted to ask you about, why is a program like By Black's Restaurant Week so important? Like, what do you get out? I know you were part of it in the first round because my daughter and I got to come down and check out Fan Bar. And so I remember her face when we were driving home eating that food. I couldn't take a picture of it when she was in the back, but she loved the food. So why is this type of project so important?
So this is really important because we want to make sure that we are connected to the community. We provide a space for people to actually even have events at our location. And the events are really important. If somebody wants to do an art show, we have the space. If somebody wants a product launch, they could do it out of Fan Bar. We want to provide a space to our community so that they can launch products, perform. Artists can perform there. We're looking to maybe have a reggae night, a jazz night. So we're trying to like make sure that our community is well looked after and connected. And so we just wanted to provide and be part of what's happening with By Blacks and be part of this program because we have great food to put out there and provide for people. And we thought this would be a really good way to get our name out there and let people know that this is where we're at and this is what we provide.
So you've teased me to come downtown because I'm not usually a downtown person. So you've teased me to come down.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a great time. We had really a lot of fun on Friday nights. Just so everyone knows, we have DJ Jamar. He's a Chum FM.
Chum FM in the mornings. Yes.
Yeah.
Jamar is there every Friday from 8 o'clock. And he does his thing for us until close. And it's really a good time and it's packed. And people are still moving around and coming in and enjoying good times. So we've had him for a while. And Saturday we'll either do a live performance or we'll do another DJ. But it's always popping in the place. The food is really good. So what we decided to do for the restaurant week is we thought we would do something fun. I don't know if anybody's had any chicken lollipops.
What are they?
I think I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah,
it's the new thing. So we thought, let's do something a little sexy and a little different. So it's basically like it's the chicken on a ball and the actual bone. So you do eat it like a lollipop, and then there's the dip, and it's pretty sexy looking. So we're doing. So that's our prefix for restaurant week. So we're doing the chicken lollipops with waffle fries, shrimp boil, and our shrimp boil is amazing.
Oh gosh!
And we're
coming downtown. I'm coming downtown.
And we do that on delivery as well, and a white chocolate brownie. So
that's white chocolate. Well, you know what? Thank you. We're going to keep you on. But Roger Dundas was shaking his head on the white chocolate brownie. So I'm going to bring Roger Dundas on here right now. So here we go. Roger.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm finally on the morning vibe. Thank you.
We had to bring some. Good morning, Roger. How we doing?
We're doing fantastic, man. Boy, I was just listening to the master class.
Yes,
that, Janice was delivering. I was thinking, what product can I come up with, so I can leverage her skill set and.
You see, she has that effect. Everybody's brain starts turning.
And then Sharon, yes. You're a wicked person because now all five of us, well, not you, Sharon, because you're there, but the four of us need to come down there.
We're going to come down there.
I'm going to decide whether we're going to go there on Friday or Saturday. I'm feeling Friday. Night. So can I just book a reservation for a table of 6?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I will.
Done deal. That's what we do.
You're on it.
All right.
We'll do an IG live from the restaurant.
Yes. So what's funny about what Fan Bar, when I look back in the history of restaurants, Black-owned restaurants, since I've been here in just 2000, right? But when I got here, it was all about Muse. Right? Remember Muse?
Yes.
Street. So that was a hangout spot, and celebrities would come there, and the food was great, and it was always crowded, right? And then the condo came there and wiped out Muse. Then the next one, of course, was Harlem. So it started off as Irish food joint, and then Carl decided to do Harlem on Richmond, and then he opened up one on Queen Street. Near to where Fan Bar is now. And of course, Carl being he's like the mayor. He was the de facto mayor of Toronto. He had everybody in that restaurant: politicians, business people, arts community. It was the hangout spot. It was a place to go see live music, poetry, house music, anything you wanted, right? It was at Harlem, right? And then Train, they had Train too on Bathurst. So Train was the jazz spot. And again, it was that spot where you could listen to some nice poetry and everything. So here's what I'm proposing. With the exception of sugarcane, which is way on the east, right? Sugarcane and Fan Bar need to be the new locations for Black people to hang out, mature people, to go and get good food, good vibes, good fun. That's what I'm proposing. That
So,
yeah.
So done. Roger, a little bit of history on By Blacks and a little bit of history on Black Restaurant Week.
So By Black, you know what's funny? Restaurants started By Blacks. Did you know that?
No.
Nobody knows that. Nobody. Okay, so we had this PR firm, 44 Media Group, which technically still exists. And we would do, back in the day, 10 years ago, before the advent of all these social media channels, it was all about guerrilla marketing. So we would go around the GTA. As a matter of fact, we went to, when we were doing our events, we would try to go to Hamilton, Kitchener, Waterloo, Barrie, even up to Ottawa, because we had some events that were in Ottawa. And we'd bring these teams of people and there'd be flyer in all the different locations. So we ended up with this list of businesses. The predominant genre was restaurant, right? So you had barbers, beauty supply salon, barber shops, but the restaurants were a little bit more amenable to you bringing in a flyer and leaving it inside their establishment to promote what you're doing, or put up a post on their glass, right? So back in 2011, and I'm looking on it, and I'm looking on the list of the restaurants, and I'm saying, wow, 75% of these restaurants do not have an online profile. Just let that simmer in for a second. 75%. Back then, 2011. I think it's at this point, it's probably maybe 15% doesn't have a satisfactory online presence, but 75% was a big number. And I figured, with what we were doing, and we were always, future thinking on the digital side and what we could do to help Black-owned businesses, we say, you know what? Why don't we start this, believe it or not, directory? That's what By Blacks was at first. It was supposed to have been just a directory. But then when we started talking to our advisors, me being the accountant, I'm doing this full business plan and everything, and I'm trying to get ideas from different people. They said, nah, you can't just have a directory, because why are people going to keep going back to the page? So you need to have content that's always changing. The best advice I ever took, because see, today, By Blacks is the top ranked online magazine for Black Canadians because of the content, yes, and also the optimization that we do on the website. So the directory, though, we did focus a little bit on it, although it makes no money. So for all those people who are invested in building out new Black business directories, knock yourself out. It doesn't make a lot of money. For me, I didn't really focus on it. I did it more as a way to give the community somewhere to find businesses, A, and 2, yes, selfishly, it helps us with our search engine optimization, because if we do an article on Ryan Knight, we can now link it to Detailing Nights. If we do our article on Fan Bar, we can link it to the Fan Bar link. So that's how it works. The internal links helps you to grow your ranking. So that was kind of the By Black story. So it really was restaurants. If I come back to it, it was the restaurants that really kind of catapulted the idea to start. Ryan has a question.
And it's interesting because you've seen the evolution of the restaurant industry in the Black community for decades. So from then and now, what do you see? And you said at the beginning, not a lot of people had an online presence.
Not even a Facebook page.
So I don't know, like, if my question is, are you seeing By Blacks being the best way to support these restaurants, or what is missing?
No, absolutely.
What do these restaurateurs need to do today that you're seeing?
So I think that just to give you some more context, our PR firm, we have represented 3 different restaurants that have all gone under, right? Mm-hmm. So the first one was Room Service. That's a high-end restaurant.
Yes, Washington.
Food was excellent. The service was terrible. You took too long to get the food out, but the food was excellent.
Yeah.
Right? Then there was Red Snapper and Ajax. I'd call it like a mid-level restaurant. And, you had family running the business. And I don't think that was the right strategy. I think that there should have been more like in the third party. I think maybe is the right term to use. So you can make sure that certain customer service training and things gets implemented into the restaurant. And then the last one was Trinidad and Bago, which was a Trinidadian-owned restaurant in Whitby, actually in my hometown, right on Brock Street. So that's like saying Yonge and Dundas Square for Toronto, right? Dundas and Brock. So they had traffic, but didn't have the skill to manage the business. And so the one common thing which affected those three restaurants that still impacts restaurants today, and which is why we're doing this restaurant week, is marketing. I say that is their challenge. Good restaurants do good food. The food tastes good. I would say the service is generally good, although there are some restaurants who you go in there and may not have that, right? So we know about that, but marketing. So when I look, and again, I've looked on. Remember, we're coming from a place of looking on restaurants' digital profile. That's what I do. I do it for a living, right? So first thing I look at the website. I look at their social. Woefully inadequate. When I mean woefully, I mean it is terrible. I don't even know how, based on their marketing, I don't know how they are still in business, because they're not doing the required things to really catapult them to the level of a, let's just go there, of a Kentucky or KFC. KFC was a little chicken spot down in the States, started by a retired colonel. I mean, it's not, he didn't have any idea that it would get to the point where it is now, right? So it's not that it's not possible. It's just that you have to actually focus on it. You have to focus on your marketing to let people know. Yeah?
I want Sharon and Janice to jump in and add on if they have any additional comments on what Roger is saying.
I wanted to add to Roger's comment, which is, that's part of the investment in your business. That's another thing. We cannot nickel and dime a business. Oh, I'm going to throw a $50 here and a $100 here. No. I mean, when you're investing in your business, the reality is you're investing in yourself. The business is just an extension. You are actually investing in yourself, which is your idea and the purpose of why you're doing what you are doing. So I think, as Roger was saying, that marketing element is important. And so how do you support that? Well, there are funding programs like Digital Main Street out there. Go do the legwork. There's money out there that can support you to bring you up to the next level. Yes, it may be missing some back end pieces, but it's a start, right? I mean, you might save $1,500 here or there, and the money that you would have invested to hire somebody, you can make the back end work for you. So I think there's an accountability as an entrepreneur that every year you should have a checklist which says, okay, what did I do this year? Or for New Year's, what am I going to do this year to enhance and better where my positioning in the market that I am in?
Sharon, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that Jana said. And I tell you, you've got to have the right marketing people. It just can't be anybody, because everybody does this. Every single person does this. There's all these young people coming up, but it has to be the right person. And it has to be somebody that is sort of ahead of the game, because these things are moving so fast. There's so many moving parts to it. And if you have to almost be ahead of the curve. So I am a customer just like everybody else. I'm always Googling and looking for, if I'm going somewhere, I want to know that they have a good reputation, that there's no nonsense going on, and because I don't want to walk into, bad food or whatever. They've got good. So you're always looking on. It's just such a changing world. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know that the food is good. I want to know what kind of. So we are using digital to make those kinds of decisions all the time for everything we do now. So that whole marketing piece is important to let everybody know, say, about Fan Bar, what we're doing, how we're doing. And we can't rely on word of mouth anymore. No, it doesn't work.
Not.
And
that doesn't work.
And this is why this is ever so important. And like I said, you can say, I'm going to have this person do this, whatever, but that's another challenge that we've come across, is finding the right person, because you could be spending money and the person doesn't know how to connect all the dots. So it does require a lot of investment and a lot of time to make sure you have the right people in place, or you're going to stay where you're at.
So
Ryan, go ahead, Roger.
yeah, so what I was I'm gonna double down on the marketing thing. So I mean, there's some simple things I think restaurants can do, because I get it. We are Black people. We have been downtrodden, and most of the times the restaurants are run by the owners. They don't have the latitude to hire general managers and everything. A lot of the restaurants that I know, even the ones participated, husband and wife, mother and son, father and daughter. You know, that's the construct. So they're in there. And what you said earlier, Sharon, is that the staff turnover problem is so critical right now. I mean, even we are experiencing the same problems, right? So I can imagine the restaurant, and our team members work from home. Right?
Yeah.
So if we have the same problems, I mean, it must be even exacerbated for restaurants. So here's what I would say for marketing, just as a very, very simple thing that anybody can do. Take 15 minutes out of your day. 15 minutes in the morning before you start the food prep and cutting up and all of that crazy stuff, right? Take a picture that you took maybe yesterday of some food that you did. So you have to be taking pictures all the time, every dish.
Yeah, document your journey. Document your journey.
Different stages, take pictures in the kitchen, whatever. So, but the ideal thing is to take a picture of the food and post it. One picture a day. It's just one. Just post it and say, this is being offered today for whatever price. And you open at this time, and here are the options that you can use to buy the food. One, and just describe it. Maybe it is granny recipe, maybe it is uncle recipe, whatever. Just have a little bit of a story behind the food. And just keep rinse and repeat that. Just keep that going. But different pictures. Never repeat the picture, right? The next thing is, make sure that you have your Google business set up. Because people still don't have Google My Business. You're a brick and mortar operation, and they don't have the Google My Business. It's free. It's free. I mean, what I'm saying to you is, we're not even getting into pay. I'm just talking about free stuff. And then the other thing that you want to focus on, Ryan, this is the thing I preach this, right? I'm going to say, you have to invest in your search engine optimization,
SEO
website.
Yes.
Assuming, of course, that you have a website, because you should. You can't be in business today and not have a website. The pandemic taught us that. You have to have your own website, because you can't rely on social media. Because I'm gonna say this for the first time ever. ByBlocks got shut down by Instagram. I think it was last week. For what? We still
Last Wednesday. Last Wednesday. We still don't know. They shut down our Facebook about a month ago. Yeah.
Okay, I know what that was. We got hacked. So we put on the 2FA on it. But I mean, I'm just saying it to say, you can't
have to have your own
on social media. You have to have your own stuff.
Digital footprint.
Yeah.
Your own platform, but you need to work on optimizing it. So yeah, Sharon, Janice, people have to invest. You have to make that investment. You have to say, you know what? I'm going to take, as my mentor Darren Hardy would say, 10% of what your revenue is and invest it back
in yourself,
into your marketing. But I'm not trying to get any work from anybody. I'm saying take that money and go buy some Google ads geo-targeted to where you're located. Because most of the time people buy from close by.
Yep.
I'm not going to drive to Hamilton to try out a restaurant. Not even Whitby. I'm just going to support Just Convenience, my favorite Whitby restaurant, which is just up the street, right? I'll go there 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I would say the average person does that. So social, Google Bid My Business, focus on your SEO, and if you have a little bit of cash, buy some Google ads, or even buy some Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're on, just geo-target them to where you are.
Janice, I know you have to leave very soon. So any last words you'd like to share with us before we let you go?
Absolutely. Before you take out the 10% and give to your marketing, pay yourself first. Rule number 1. Pay yourself first, and then what you have left over, that is what you work with. Otherwise, you will always be working and never be getting anything from the business.
True that.
So,
Okay, well, Janice, I know you have to leave us. We're going to get you back on the Morning Vibe on your own, so you can do another masterclass for us. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank
And
you.
to you and your
Thank
family,
you.
be safe and give yourselves grace, okay?
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure seeing you all, and thank you for
Yes.
having me.
All right. Take care,
Great seeing
Janice.
The other
All
point
right.
I wanted to bring up to it with the restaurant week is that some restaurants didn't participate. They said that the delivery companies, because they take so much of a bite out of their food costs.
Yep.
Like, so Uber takes 30%. I think Skip the Dishes is 25%. DoorDash is 25%. So let me put it in perspective. You order the food for $10. They're selling it for $10. Uber takes 3, or Skip the Dishes takes 2.5 of every $10. So, for them to now come into the ByBlacks restaurant, we can offer a 15 to 20% discount. If you throw that on the delivery app,
the margin is so slim.
Yeah, you're really just doing it as a marketing thing. So I strongly recommend that the restaurants actually do it via takeout or dine in if they have that option. So if the person can order directly from them, that is actually the most profitable option for them.
Sharon, you were shaking your head, so it sounded like you had something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, the delivery is, and actually, just so you know, Uber, I just saw an email, their fees are going up. Like, I can't even imagine, like, how are you going to take more than 30%? I mean, it's getting so ridiculous that there needs to be somebody else that comes in and finds to kind of, so there's an opportunity there, like to find a way to get around.
There's a Black-owned food delivery business, but they're also not marketing themselves enough.
See, and I didn't know that.
We asked Uber to sponsor ByBlacksdotcom Restaurant Week. I said to them, just come and sponsor it. I don't want any money. The first time in May, I said, just give the Black restaurants that are participating 1 week of no fee. Just that. They declined. So
wow.
Hey, I'm not making up this stuff, man.
I know you're not.
Thanks for the effort. Thank you for the effort. I mean, that's all we can do is try. Yep. No.
We try, but we're gonna ask them again. We're gonna ask them again.
Yeah, keep asking them. And if it's not Uber, it could be Skip. It could be somebody that's trying to get in the market.
Sure.
And then we can, catapult them and sort of shift our business from that to this for people that are understanding and want to help.
If I could just say one thing before we come off, for restaurants that are, well, really businesses, but for restaurants that are looking for some support, remember that the Black Ecosystem Fund is out there, and the BBPA has a BAIDS program. So what that does is, Sharon, if let's say you wanted a new website created, you apply to the BBPA and say, hey, I need some marketing, website, social media strategy done, right? They find a vendor that can provide you with the services. They pay the vendor. You get the services.
Oh, nice.
So you have to take advantage of these things. I believe Ryan is coming up with a somewhat similar program. He provides a lot of training. And I think the Chamber of Commerce will also have a similar program. So it's worth investing in.
Well, which one of the organizations wants to invest in Dr. Vibe?
Well, sign up for the thing. Listen, this is what I keep preaching. There's so much resources, and especially now that I would say the Black business support organizations are funded, there's no excuse for us not to support these entrepreneurs. And Roger, as you're talking about the delivery service, the restaurant week ties perfectly into that delivery service. So if you have, if you think if it's the MyXP, I definitely have to touch base with O'Neill to say, listen, here's a list of 20 restaurants that go and talk to them, start delivering their stuff to reduce their fees.
I gave him, as the mafia would say, I gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, and he refused it.
Oh,
maybe there's something. Maybe we should check in on him and see if he's okay.
Yeah,
because it didn't make sense for him not to participate based on the offer that he got.
Exactly.
Speaking of participation, I'm gonna, just before we start winding it down, I'm going to just go to the list of participants.
Yes.
for Restaurant Week. So we're going to put them up on screen. So we've got Sugarcane, Carib 21.
From Little Jamaica.
Celebrity Pure Vegetarian, Cuisine by Noel. Fan Bar, I think I've heard of them. GC Jerk Express.
Mississauga.
Irie Cuisine.
Oakville.
Yes, Jacko's Restaurant.
Little Jamaica.
Judy's Island Grill.
Little Jamaica.
Just Convenience Jerk Stop.
Whitby.
Hey.
Mob Seafood. Right
David
now,
Brampton, really, but at the Scarborough.
Scarborough on weekends, yeah.
On the weekends, yeah.
Reggae Cafe Sarnia.
Yeah.
Reggae Cafe Caribbean Cuisine Toronto.
That's in Little Jamaica as well.
Sunrise.
Yep, there's one Sunrise on Eglinton.
Abibian Project. And this is Caribbean Catering. So,
and they're based in Hamilton.
Okay.
These.
All right. All right. So those are all the purchases. And you know what? We've got some good news. Someone has come back to our conversation.
Yes, I'm back.
That BB Man project. So you know what? When I saw that one, my heart warmed. First of all, Ryan, thank you for bringing them on board. But they are basically almost like a food support organization.
Okay.
That does a pop-up kitchen on the weekends, right? Down in I think they're downtown Broadview, right?
Broadview, absolutely. Broadview and Young area.
So
Gotcha.
their profit is donated to the Afro Food Basket, right?
Yes.
100%.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, wow, no, we're gonna have her on our IG live at some point to talk about it and her story. I really love that. I really love the fact that she was doing that and actually giving back to the farm. So because farming is, if you're not on it yet, farming is the way to go.
And really a thank you to you, Roger. I know we had connected, I think through Janice, and then it was like last minute. We're like, listen, we want to sponsor this restaurant to get in. And you're like, boy, you know, the deadline was 2 days ago. Like, you do me a thing. Got it in. My heart warmed seeing it in the list. And that's where I always appreciate everything that you're doing for the community. I feel like you amplify the voices of not just Black entrepreneurs, but Black stories. And
Ryan, he doesn't do it alone, please.
Thank you.
Hey,
we have a full team. I'll be remiss.
Yes.
I'll be remiss in not thanking the team. This fall edition, we had actually 6 people work on this ByBlacks Restaurant Week. 6
Excellent.
people. And I have to thank the sponsors to Grace Kennedy, Grace Foods Canada. Sorry, I'm so used to, I grew up in Jamaica, so I keep saying Grace Kennedy, but they rebranded and now it's called Grace Foods. So they saw this and they say, hey, I'm in. And they came on in a big way. So really have to say shout out to them. Shout out to Rogers Communications too for supporting, and of course all the the BBPA, the Canadian
ACBN,
Commerce, the ACBN,
Foodpreneur
Lab,
Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce,
Canada Takeout,
yeah,
for supporting us, and Cuisine Noir magazine.
Yes, based in San Francisco.
Yeah, they did a nice on ByBlacks Restaurant Week in their special edition. So that's amazing. And all the media, and of course my team. I have to name them: Jay, Simfo, Crystal, Wendy, Camille. It's just an amazing amount of effort.
Well, some comments here. Chris is saying, Roger, your work and track record is remarkable.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
All right. And Wendy is saying, I'm for one. I'm looking for the chicken lollipops.
I love it.
Can I add something as well?
Absolutely. We got some time here because Janice came back. So Janice is back.
Reservation for 6. Remember that.
Yes.
Got it. Roger
8
and
o'clock.
ByBlacks, your entire team, thank you for doing what you do and
You're welcome.
allowing us this platform and trying to connect us all and getting our name out there and what we do and what we provide. So really appreciate it. You and your team have been great through this whole process. So thank you. And we need this, especially now. We need holding hands and kumbaya and everybody helping everybody. And this was not, you've made it very easy to jump on board, and it's my first time and getting it done. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot that you're giving for nothing, and I really appreciate it. I think I'm getting way more out of it. Yeah.
Hopefully, the idea is that the sponsors would fund it. So that's really what the goal is, and the sponsors being it's not just the Black membership organizations. There's also the BIAs. The BIAs have a vested interest in ensuring that their businesses stick around and are profitable, right?
Absolutely.
The boards of trades as well,
Yep.
right? And then government as well. So there's a whole ecosystem that's supported. So the next time we're going to work with more. So there's an organization in Vancouver. There's one in Edmonton. There's one in Calgary. That Black organization, Nova Scotia, Ottawa, etc. Niagara Falls, Regina. So we just want them to make sure that their restaurants are included the next go round. Because what it does ultimately is that, and Sharon, you'll experience it. People may walk into the restaurant, come in to buy the prefix, look at the menu and say, you know what, I'm going to buy this instead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Scale up.
Right?
And so to save Roger from the doghouse, I want to do a special shout out to Miss Camille Dundas.
Thank you. I was waiting for you
to sending me the picture.
I said her name earlier.
To reinforce. But you sent me a picture of when I first met Camille in 2013. We were on a panel together, and that's how I got to know about ByBlacks and follow along since then. So, yeah, my introduction to Roger was through Ms. Dundas.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
and now we have our regular 2-week meetings. Head check.
Yes.
Roger, talk about some of the IG lives that are coming up.
Oh my God, I don't even know them. I'd have to bring on. You see, this is when you delegate stuff and you don't know what's happening. So as I delegated the stuff, I don't know what's happening. I know that Dr. Vibe is doing some interviews at 7:00. He has one today.
Yes.
And Debbie Deere from Debbie Deere Productions. She used to be on a program called What We Dig Today. Nice little video segment. They would go to different restaurants and eat the food and videotape the chefs and everything. So she's hosting some IG lives as well. Fambar is going to be featured on Eat Famous, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
for me,
there.
So tomorrow night I'm on with Colin from GC Jerk at 7 p.m. So Dr. Vibe is doing a takeover of ByBlacks Instagram for a few minutes. They won't let me on for long, but just a few minutes.
Oh, nice.
It's 25 minutes. You hear?
Yeah, I know. It's a few minutes.
When you get that TV show, the interviews are going to be 7 minutes long, bro.
I know that. I'm taking advantage of my footprint now. And tonight at 7 p.m. Tonight at 7 p.m. on the ByBlacks Instagram, I'm interviewing from James Gregg from Carib 21.
Yes, sir.
So the Instagram handle is right there, folks. So follow ByBlacks anyways on Instagram to keep up to date, not only on Restaurant Week, but other things, please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anything else anyone else wants to share about what's going on in the Restaurant Week? Sharon? Yes, I hope Roger allows me to be part of that 6. Not Domino 6, the group of 6.
Well, come on, we have 4.
I'll see you guys Friday night. All of you Friday night. I'll see you
Friday night, man.
Book it.
All right. Janice, anything you'd like to close with?
I just want to say how heartwarming it is to see all the stuff that we are doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, it was an idea at some point that we've all executed upon. I want us to keep that in mind. And I want that for other people who are watching this show to stop and pause for a moment, that each and every one of us that are talking to at some point had an idea and decided, you know what, we're going to take a chance on ourselves and execute. So I highly recommend you do the same, because not to do it is what you miss upon your contribution to society, to your children by demonstration, and to future generations of people who said we couldn't do this, and yet here we are. So kudos to all of you.
Yeah,
I think it's a good cool.
massive.
Roger, there is a question here. Is ByBlacks involved with Restaurant Canada?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, do you know Tim Frey at all, Roger?
No, but you know what?
I'll do an introduction.
And Tim, we'll have a discussion.
Yes.
I've heard, this is the second time now I've heard that I need to meet Tim Frey. So
Excellent.
All right.
Yes, you do.
yes.
Oh, you see?
Just saying, man. Just saying. Well, I did want to double down though on like as I said, I believe that Fan Bar and Sugarcane are the two spots, the hangout spots. Black Room, that's gonna be existing. And I think if I copy the strategy of another successful restaurant, that's the easiest way to do it. I like the fact that FAM, they have the multiple streams of income, meaning that they have the artwork on the wall. So that's something that Carl did heavily. He had artists selling their art. Now, of course, you earn 40%, whatever you take from the selling of it. Then you have the food, of course. Then you have the drinks, separate thing. We have to consider it separate, because drinks by itself is really where the money is made. Yeah. And then of course you have the entertainment. So to lock in that weekly experience, Friday night, hey, jazz night at Fan Bar, or listening ByBlacks listening sessions on a Saturday between 6 and 9. That's what we want to talk about, where we can bring in the different artists and promote it through our platform, and that's where they come and perform. Right, so the different multiple streams of income, MSIs, as they say.
Yep, there you go. Sharon, any final words?
No, I was just going to say, Janice, if there's a way, like we have the space, if anybody wants to do product launches or use our space for anything,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I already have you logged.
we already booked. We already booked for 2022.
Yeah, because that's important for us as well, to be able to take that message back to our community and say, hey, listen, there are all these venues and this is what's available. So thank you.
Okay, so that's how I'm going to just end it up by just profiling the website. So Foodpreneur website is there. Fan Bar website is there. ByBlacks website is there. So each one of you, thank you so much for everything you are doing and will be doing, or are and will be doing. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing each other sooner rather than later, face to face, even for a mask. I'd like to say thank you so much for taking time in your positive, productive schedules. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. And you know what? The best is yet to come. Oh, hey, your mask.
ByBlacks.
All right. Take care, family.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
me.
me.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Our pleasure.
Okay. Here we go. And there we go. Wow. That was amazing. That was amazing.
So, listen, if you are not hungry now, when you go and get your food, remember, next week we are going to be giving out the prizes from the ByBlacks Restaurant Week contest powered by ACBN. So take pictures. And there's a special prize if you take pictures with Grace Food Canada products that Roger's throwing in there. So keep that in mind if you buy any what would they be? I always get their soda pop drinks. So take pictures, share it, tag at ByBlacks. It's at ByBlacks on Instagram, tag at ACBN_Canada. We'd love to see you patroning these restaurants, having a good time. And like Roger said, he booked us. I feel like I'm just going to crash that party on Friday. And I don't know if that 8 included myself and you, Dr. Vibe.
No, it's a special 6. We have special 6. I don't know if I'm going to get included or not. But
hey,
if you
we're going to show up. Let's show up.
Let's just show up. Crash.
Let's do it.
Just crash.
I'm down for it.
What's up for the rest of the week?
Yeah, I have a couple. What is happening this week? Yeah, I got to talk with FedDev and have some meetings with some MPs, letting them know about what ACBN is up to, and going to deliver some more of the books, Jasmine's book. So there's a program at the Peel District School Board called We Rise, So I was able to do a presentation, and we sparked the idea of the students writing their own book. So I said, if they start their book, I will give a copy to each of them. And they started. So I'm going to drop off some books for them and encourage to get that story and book done. So looking forward to it.
Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on your wife's win too. That's fantastic. I love this.
Yes.
Good closing comment here. Christopher saying you all just made my day.
Love that.
That's a good way to end off. So
how's your week looking? What are you up to?
Mine, today is cray. After this, around middle of the afternoon, I have to do a presentation on diversity and inclusion for a group of Salvation Army clients.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then at 6 o'clock, I have my weekly course for sponsorship. Then 7 o'clock, I have to do the IG Live for ByBlacks. and then 8 o'clock, I do people may or may not know I'm a certified coach. The coaching school I graduated from back in 2015 has hired me to do weekly mentor. What did my weekly classes for their current students. So I'm providing them the tools and skills to become certified coaches. So that is my day today. So I have a little bit of a grace time between now and then rest of the week. I just want to get by today. I'm just thinking about today. When you come to Friday, you can ask, so how's my week been? I just want to get by today. Then some other things. But Friday, we have someone coming up on Friday, a returning visitor?
Yes. So Chris Beth Cowie will be back talking about how she can supercharge businesses in our community with the Empowered for X Accelerator. So happy to learn more about that and see who we can plug in. Yeah.
Excellent. And hello, Nathan. Yeah, right. You got Nathan in the background. So as always, folks, like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. Thank you so much. Hey, if you can order something this week, this is the week, and take pictures and tag ByBlacks, tag our ACBN, tag Dr. Vibe Show on it. All right. Please be safe. If you're in Southern Ontario, stay warm. Winter here. We'll see you back Friday morning, 9 a.m. God bless. Peace, you all. Keep your faith. And remember, walk good. Thanks for watching live on the replay, folks. Be well.